Hello everybody, I'm back with the part 2 of our Blue Eye Samurai artwork and Q&A. I'm back. It's a couple of hours later for me. My hair's all of a mess, I do apologise. Let's put the glasses on to put it out of the way. There we go. I don't know whether someone has said it, but you're an excellent editor. I admire how you're able to give us a video every morning. Oh, thank you. Okay, we all know that deep down Blue Eye Samurai is a story of Let me do that again. We all know that deep down, Blue Eye Samurai is a story of self-acceptance. Sorry, I can't read. There's nothing wrong with your comment either, I just can't read. How do you think this is going to be as a journey for Mizu? Do you think she will succeed? What situations do you imagine that will make Mizu accept herself and decide to live her life in peace? Ooh, for example, the theory that her parents are alive, a new romance, new cities, meeting new interracial people. Yeah, oh, see, you're hitting the sore point now. A new romance, see, that could go either way. I said in the last episode, can I see Mizu becoming bi or a woman kisser or whatever? No, but it wouldn't surprise me if they go somewhere with that. If she's going through Europe, hey, you never know. And are her parents alive? Yeah, I wondered that. Now there's a chance that that woman isn't Mizu's mother. And imagine Mizu meets her mother and her mother's like really gentle and sweet and plays more into the feminine side. Does it bring out more of a feminine side to Mizu? I don't know. Because she's been raised in such a cold environment, has that made her almost more masculine? I don't mean that in a negative way, I just mean, did she become so defensive because of that environment? If she actually found there was people more accepting of her, would you see her personality shift a lot? Which would be interesting if they played the opposite with Akemi. So Akemi becomes more of a sort of dictator or more of a dick, goes down more of that sort of vigilante path, and then does Mizu actually change and become something else? I don't know. It would be amazing writing if she goes over to London and doesn't really continue her mission, but something else crops up. That would be interesting as well, and if they could handle that and keep that really enticing, I think that'd be really good. Have you ever been to Japan? And if not, would you like to visit / learn the language? I've never been to Japan. I would love to go to Japan. I'm not much of a traveller myself, if I'm honest with you. I haven't really travelled a lot. I haven't been abroad for probably a decade at this point, actually, and I've only ever been to Europe. Yeah, I'd love to go to Japan. What's your favourite episode and why? Been over that one, it's 107, probably. If you had to change one plot point, what would it be and how would you change it? I've already said about Mizu, her finally telling someone that she's a woman, but I would say I would have wanted Taigen to not be as bratty as he was when he sort of walked off in episode 7. I would have wanted something a bit more there in terms of warmth from his character, I think. Is that the only thing? No, because I was going to say about Heiji Shindo, but I'm quite happy Heiji Shindo met his end. The reason I was going to say more about Heiji Shindo is I was like, would it have been better to make Heiji Shindo sort of stay alive a bit longer? Could he have been useful to Mizu as well? But he was so insufferable. I actually think she probably did right by that. Apart from Mizu, who has been your favourite character? It probably is Taigen, actually. Sword Father, just for plot area. But I would actually say, oh no, or is it Madame Kaji? Actually, it probably is Madame Kaji. I found her really, really interesting. And I like a lot of her lines, that bit where she talks to Akemi and talks about, like, you know, get what you want. I think that had a big effect on her. I think Madame Kaji had a huge effect on both Mizu and Akemi. Because it was almost like she was the mother archetype. She was the older version of those two women, even though Mizu and Akemi are polar opposites, you know? So actually, probably Madame Kaji, actually, just for a bit of a different answer. Madame Kaji, yeah. What individual scene is your favourite? I'll accept top 3, you guys know me so well. Fight scenes would be the initial fight scene between Mizu and Taigen. And then I'd say the archer scene where they're getting fired at with the arrows. And any of the bit where she's in Fowler's castle, that's really cool as well. In terms of like emotional scenes, I'd say the talk with Swordfather on the cliff. I would say, I quite liked as well Akemi talking with, God, I can't remember his name. Isn't that hilarious? I can't remember his name. I'll type it here. No, my luck, I'll remember it when I'm editing. Like when he's dying on the bridge. That scene is pretty poignant. And then Mizu painting herself, but the fire, when she places the different objects into the fire, I'd say those. Not just because she's naked, it's not because of that. That's very moving, actually. That kind of shocked me a lot. What shocked you the most was the next question. Seeing Mizu bedonking with a husband that later was horrible to. What do you think was the most used word or expression during the series? Stunning. Oh my god. What? Look. Shut up. Hang on. Or Mizu. Oh no. Oh, it's probably what, isn't it? Option C, what? C for Claudie, that's what I'm going with. Although stunning, although I say Mizu a lot. It's either Mizu, what, or stunning. I'm going to go with what though. I go like, huh? I say what 3 times when Mizu's mother turns around and says, I've got you a husband. I go, what? 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 I say that one 3 times. Let me crack on with this. What I'm going to do is just start colour blocking Mizu all in one colour, and then we're going to go in and change it. So I'm going to start with this sort of blue for her outfit. Mizu will be going off to London at season 2, and if somehow you ever meet her as a local, wait, can I call you a local? I saw you're from the UK, but I don't know specifically where you are. Where would you take her to show her around? I love how you questioned your own question whilst writing out the question and then left it in. I love that. I would take Mizu to the Lake Districts. I mentioned that in, I don't know if you've seen this video yet, but I watched like a behind the scenes and the interview and stuff. It doesn't compare to like Japanese mountains and stuff, but it's pretty beautiful. I'd take her there and down to the coast of Cornwall. I think she needs a beach day. Again, probably doesn't compare to the beaches in Japan, but someone's not going to be trying to kill you. Hey, the 4 fangs won't be there, so you can have a break. You can have a Kit Kat. Anyway, imagine Mizu in Dartmoor, like she's Sherlock Holmes. Imagine Mizu walking along the moors. Imagine that. Oh, just a shot of Mizu on the moors. Oh my god. For season 2, option 1, all and everything will take place in England. Option 2, 2 storylines with Mizu in London and England and other characters in Japan. Or 3, just a short visit in England and then a return to Japan. See, in the behind the scenes, not behind the scenes, in the cast interview, it seems like she's going to be staying in England. I don't think she's going to be in Japan for a lot of Blue Eye Samurai season 2. From the way they're talking about it, I don't think she is. I'd like her to go back to Japan because I think it would round it up. I'd like her to go back having learnt something. If she is there, she's going to be there for like a good few years, I think. I think it's going to be a large chunk of time and then she'll make her way back. Because technically she's got a duel with Taigen though, so what's going to happen there? I'd be really sad if they killed off Mizu. If they do something stupid at the end and they kill her off. But then, is there rumour there's a season 3? I don't know. I heard rumour that there may be a season 3, but I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not so happy with Mizu's sleeves. I don't love them, to be honest with you. But I'm not quite sure what to do with them. Maybe we'll colour everything and then I can always just go over the lines and just redraw stuff. I may do the sleeves hanging down lower. If I'm honest with you, I might just redo them because I'm not the biggest fan of how these sleeves have turned out. They're okay, but I just feel like with fresh eyes, you know when you sort of see how you can change something a little bit? And I think I'm going to do lots of different shades and tones of blue. I'm going to add a sort of blue tone to the entire image. I might not incorporate the orange element because I kind of like this idea. If this is an older Mizu, sort of with a younger version of herself, she wouldn't hide herself with the orange. So that's why I'm thinking with this. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe we could do the glasses on the ground or something, just as a little... I'm thinking of something, you know, like with the arcane image I did with the airship? That's what I'm thinking, really, is how do we include a little bit of the story just to show that we actually have watched the show. Also, I filmed part 1 in the afternoon, and I'm filming part 2 at the same time of evening when my tummy starts rumbling again, so I'm really sorry if it does. I can't help it, it just starts to rumble. So if it does, again, sorry. What do you generally think about the soundtrack in the series, and especially the use of Metallica songs and the song from Kill Bill? See, I haven't seen Kill Bill, and probably won't because I've heard it's very gory. But yeah, I like that, especially in the like Fowler's Castle episode 106. How the music changes a lot. I really, really like that personally. I really like the change of style. Especially from the scenes with the 2 songs I think are very visually cool, but because of the songs it broke with the series and that fell out of place for me and made it feel bad for me at first. Interesting. I can see why you'd think that because obviously the music's so on par with the sort of Japanese style of things. I looked at it as the shift was basically linked to Fowler. So it's the first time that she is in the same building as someone with her Caucasian element. So the music would shift to match that. That's how I looked at it, and that's how it seemed okay for me. And to be honest with you, I like rock, so yeah, it won me over in that regard. But I can see how it would make you feel a bit, how things have gone astray a little bit, because it is that different tone in terms of the stylization, so I get that. Right, let's just carry on with Mizu for a sec, and then I'll carry on with some questions. There we go. do Mizu's other foot. For the sake of controversy, which show did you enjoy more, Arcane or Blue Eye Samurai? Don't do this to me, come on now. If you're playing the They Are Different card, what do you think each show did exceptionally? I think Blue Eye Samurai allowed you to focus on one character very, very well without it getting boring. And I think Arcane did the opposite. It allowed you to basically get hooked on a bunch of characters and how their relationships together help everything progress throughout the show. So I'd say, like, of course, Blue Eye Samurai intermingles with more than one character, of course. But I think Arcane almost does that with more depth and more interestingly in some ways, just because it has more of a capacity to, plus it has all the background lore to do so. And what elements from the show would you wish the other had incorporated? For example, I would have liked Arcane to be as gory as Blue Eye Samurai. Interesting. Okay, I wouldn't, personally, because you know what I'm like. I actually think in some cases the dialogue is better in Blue Eye Samurai. They don't leave so much to the imagination. They do tell you some things. I think sometimes with Arcane, I would have wanted certain characters to speak more. Caitlyn and Jinx. I think in some cases, you know what really would have helped Blue Eye Samurai is to have an element of the music and stuff that Arcane had. So the element of like more known about the music, maybe use more familiar artists or something like that. I think that would have really elevated Blue Eye Samurai a bit more. I know they do have like character themes and stuff. I haven't checked those out yet. I probably will do at some point. But I think that made the music more worthwhile in terms of people would want to look it up outside of the show a little bit more. Because Arcane, its music really pushed it a lot. And I think Blue Eye Samurai, if it had the capacity to have done that, I think it actually probably would have got even more success. Have either of these shows influenced your current writing or creative projects? Yes. Mizu as a character has helped me work on a specific character I've been trying to deal with now for a while. Mizu's character has helped bring out this other character of me. And both shows in terms of this ability to intermingle music and writing has really helped me a lot. I'm mentioned in the last video, I'm working on a video at the moment for you guys that's taken a little while. And we have talked about it before, but it's on its way. I'm nervous about it. I'm like super nervous about it, but it's on its way. And that's different to what you guys would have seen from me before. So I have like a project I've been working on now since November 22. Yeah, 2022 was roughly when these characters came to me. And it's kind of set in the 30s, 1930s, and I've been kind of studying 30s music and doing my own take on that and sort of influencing that. So I've got a couple of songs that I've made, not in full, they're not like fully recorded or anything, but made for that. So yeah, I will often mingle music and other creative work with writing, and I find these shows have just shown that even more and been able to bring that out of me even more. So I think Mizu's somewhere up here, and we'll do the little blush nose because it's just too cute. My little Mizu. I start talking about her like I was talking about Caitlyn in those other vids. I was like, Mongoose is so fluffy. This is going to be weird if you haven't seen the videos, but it will make sense, I promise. Okay, let's go with this. There we go. Skadoosh, hand over here. I'm actually very happy with how this hand turned out. I didn't think I'd be able to get that right first try, and I did. I was actually really proud of myself. Nice. And then we'll just go over all of this, and then we'll go back over in a minute and add in the eyes and stuff. And the hair, we'll go over the hair in a sec. Because Mizu's hair is black, but it's actually like a very, very dark brown. It's almost like a blue shade, actually. Her hair picks up the surrounding light a lot, so her hair's black, but it's actually sort of got like slight blue tones to it. I want these sort of like bright white. Yeah. And then the blue. Yeah, just want to try and get the colour as close to the show as possible. It's almost a little bit lighter, actually. Lastly, rank the following ladies based on how fast you'd wife them up at this point in time. Oh, God. Mizu, Caitlyn, Vi, Katarina or Cassandra? I think you've actually done it in order, haven't you? No. So Mizu, Caitlyn, Vi, Katarina or Cassandra. So Katarina... Well, Cassandra's at the bottom because she's got Tobias. So Cassandra is at the bottom. I love Cassie, you know that. But Cassandra's at the bottom. I'd say Katarina is next up from there because I don't know her. And she kind of scares me in a good way. But yeah, she's not that higher up, to be honest. She's number 4. And then I would say, oh no, it is, you actually done it in order. Yeah, Vi. No, Caitlin, then Vi. Oh, I don't know. Cassandra, Katarina, Vi. No. Cassandra, Katarina, Caitlin. No, I can't do that. I can't put Caitlin at 3. Mizu is first, no, because I would just want to help her. If I could. If I could just save her from all that, maybe I would. Would I with Mizu? Probably. I probably would. Yeah, Mizu, Caitlin. No, Mizu, Vi. I adore Caitlin, but I would actually get on better with Vi, I think. So it'd be Mizu, Vi, Caitlin, Katarina, Cassandra. So just swap Vi and Caitlin around. I adore Caitlin, but I think she'd actually loathe me. I don't know why. I've got this feeling that she'd hate me, and I don't know why. Let's do Mizu's sort of hair, and I'm going to be sort of doing like a really, really dark brown. It's almost like a grey, I think, her hair. But I'll just go with like a very, very dark brown, almost like a black. Oh, now it looks like Mizu. Now I've filled the hair in, it really looks like her. Oh, now it looks like Mizu. There she is. There she is. I'm not going to get it. Right, let me just do the little bits of pink blush while I remember it. Airbrush. Oh, I've just now re-rank them based on how well they'd pull off a kimono or samurai attire. Okay, Mizu's at the top. Then I'd say Katarina. Then Caitlin. Then Vi. Then Cassandra. Mizu, Kat, Kate, Vi, Cassie. There you go. Good question. Another popular theory is that her mother was actually someone connected to the shogun, possibly... Sorry, I've just hiccuped as I'm trying to read. Am I going to hiccup again? No. Another popular theory is that her mother was actually someone connected to the shogun, possibly Lady Ito's sister, a former consort of Shogun Ito, given the similarities in appearance. Yeah, Lady Ito never... Yes, they didn't interact in season 1. And there was that weird thing where the camera panned around, didn't it? Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Another important detail people often overlook is that blue eyes are recessive. For Mizu to have them, her mother must also have mixed heritage. Oh! According to the theory of Mizu's mother being Lady Ito's sister, she had an affair with one of the white men, and despite pressure to abandon the child, she chose to keep her. This would explain a lot about the things played out in season 1, and it would explain that bit where we see her as a baby and they can't kill her. Akemi's connection to the bigger story is unclear. Yeah, since she stayed in Japan. But if Mizu is tied to the Shogun, it would bring Akemi back to the main plot. That makes sense. Oh, I like this. Fowler calls Mizu Little Miss. It's capitalised in Netflix official subs, suggesting that she might be someone important. Very clever. There's a bounty on her head placed by someone rich and powerful. 2 Japanese men were sent to kill the baby. They hesitated upon seeing the blue eyes. Mama was paid to keep Mizu hidden, implying a steady income. One of the white men tried to burn Mizu alive as a baby. Yeah, if Mizu's father tried to kill her and the mother, it makes sense that the mother's side paid to keep her hidden. That would mean her mother was rich enough to afford maids and servants. Oh, that's a really good point. If Mizu's mother was Lady Ito's sister, Lady Ito could have secretly protected her niece. This would also explain how Fowler knows so much about Mizu's past as he's connected to the Shogun. Oh, this makes so much sense. Oh, I'd love to see this play out. It could bring her back to Japan and the Edo Palace. Yes. That's not even really a question, whatever you put there. I'm not even going to question it. Yeah. No, that's really cool. I really want that to play out, by the way. That's really, really cool. And there's a lot they could do with that in terms of flashbacks and stuff. Oh, I like that. Thank you very much for commenting that. That's really, really cool. That makes sense though, no? That makes a lot of sense. I'm also just highlighting her lips here. Sorry, it's only because I know that some people are sitting around waiting for this drawing to be done. I don't want to make people wait. Yeah, so it would make sense that her mother was someone of importance, wouldn't it, really? If they have the capacity to pay her off, or pay off whoever was then protecting her. Sorry, I've just stopped to take a look at this. What are we thinking? I quite like it. It's one of these things I could always do better with this style, because it's not so clean cut as the cartoon style, but let me just do Mizu's gloves. I'm actually going to do them like the same colour as her hair, almost like a brown sort of tan leather colour. So we're just going to work this in here. Main thing is just to get as much colour blocking done. Now this may take longer than than tonight, but I will just compile everything together. I'll complete this tomorrow. So either way, you'll see the end of this in this vid, don't you worry. Yeah, nice. There's my Mizu. Yeah, that looks like Mizu. Love it. Right, let's move this down. Now let's move on to the little one. I'm also going to do her outfit in blue. What do you think Akemi's art will be in season 2? Well, now I know about that theory. That makes a lot of sense. And maybe Akemi will come back into things. Do you think she will be a smart but benign ruler, or do you think she'll be very vengeful? Oh, I've got a feeling she's going to be vengeful, chaps. I think she's had enough. No, I think Akemi's going to go on a bit of a villain arc, to be honest with you. Now, I can see things playing out in quite a dangerous sense. I think she's going to be more of a problem than a solution, if I'm honest. Because I think she's seeing the world that she lives in a very different way to how Mizu is, but Akemi doesn't have the ability to sort of go and pick up a sword and take people out, so she's going to do it in more of a power way. So I don't know how that's going to twist and change things, but no, I think Akemi's going to be up to something, to be honest with you. Lovely stuff. I think Akemi's just going to be on a sort of villain arc the entire time, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I can see it, because I think she's had enough. Reminds me of Silco in Arcane when he goes, have you had enough? I think that's my favourite. I'm also thinking of doing a video, sorry to bring it back to Arcane, but I think I'm going to do a video where I go over like my favourite pieces of dialogue from the shows. So like my 5 favourite pieces of dialogue from blueeyesamurai, and I kind of break it down and do like a commentary video on it. And I think I'm going to do one for Arcane as well, so season 1 and season 2. So the 5 best pieces of dialogue in the entire show. Nice. Oh look, she's so cute. She's so cute. Let's just add the skin tone in as well. Yeah, I can see Akemi using power to do some big problems as opposed to Mizu going on her own sort of vigilante pathway trying to be an individual. I can see Akemi doing far more than being an individual, if that makes sense. I think Akemi's going to probably seduce a few people and do it that way. I think Mizu's going to use brute force. I think Akemi's going to weasel her way in. Nice. And I'm just going to do Mizu's hair. Around there. And around here. Nice. I need to get back to watching a show, by the way, as well, because at the point of filming this, I haven't started watching Fleabag yet. And I've got to get around to doing those videos for you guys. So that's how long I've been doing a lot of the League reactions and stuff, because I'm way behind on reaction schedule. There is no schedule, is there, really? I'm making it up as I go along, but I need to get on with some reactions. I'm skim reading questions at this point if they're long, just because I want to make sure I get through everybody's. Mizu and Fowler will swap home and away status. Yeah, so she's now in other territory, which will be interesting. Mizu will rely on Fowler and learn English and provide a cover story. Good point, yeah. My question is, in terms of percentage, Oz will see Mizu dressed as a female or a male. Oh, I don't know. I think she might be more female in this. I think she'll present herself as female because I think, will she play more of a seductive pathway in season 2? Will Akemi mirror Mizu in season 1, and Mizu in season 2 will now mirror Akemi in season 1? Do you know what I mean? Like, will it swap? Will Akemi become almost more masculine in her approach, more domineering in that sort of pioneering sense? And will Mizu play the different role now that she's in a different space? I don't know. I can see it, to be honest with you, I can see it. I mean, imagine if Taigen sees her like that. Can you imagine? Oh, what would you do? What would you do if Taigen turns up and she's like in a English 1600s dress? Oh, I think I might lose it, actually. Let's do Mizu's sword first. So the handle is kind of this sort of brass kind of colour, I think, but we'll go with that either way. Let's go there. I didn't realise how many questions you guys had given me. This is awesome. There we go. Yeah, and then the sword is like a sort of silvery blue, isn't it? I'm going to start with this colour and then we'll just see how that goes. Yeah. Should she have one of them wooden training swords? No, I want to give her like an actual sword. Just letting you guys know. My tummy is rumbling. Sorry. This is also, I've done this a little bit of a green tone, so I just need to change this in a sec. Like that. I like the fact she's almost got like a broken sword. Yeah. Oh, she's so cute. Now let's start focusing on some background stuff. Filling in and colour blocking all the fence posts and the trees, and then we'll keep cracking on, right? Thoughts on a possible twist that Mizu's white parent is actually a mother? We just discussed that, so I'll skip that question. But I honestly, now you mentioned the recessive eye colour trait, then it makes sense. Good question. How will Mizu know who her father is? Good point. I might be dumb, but it's just not adding up for me. Mizu is chasing 4 men to kill who they could been her father, but does she even care about this fact? What if Fowler is her father? Yeah, and she's already taken out Violet, as far as we know. Well, that then makes sense if the entire following plotline is that her Japanese element is different to what we originally thought, and her Caucasian element is different. That then makes more sense. I think that's more what season 2 will play out, actually, because it would make more sense from a writing standpoint. So, yeah, I think that's going to be more the path, you know, now that I'm thinking about it. I'm just going to bring this down. I'm going to add want a sort of midnight blue. Just very lightly fade it. A trip to Japan to London in 1657 is going to be a long journey with many stops. Will the show go over the possible stops along the way? China, India, Egypt, Greece? That's what I'm wondering, yeah. I wonder if each episode's going to be a different stop and then there'll be a flashback or something. Or will it go straight to London 10 to 15 weeks later? No, I think the show's, at least the first 3 episodes, it's going to play out a little bit first. I think there's some other things they want to explore. Just personally, from what I think could be happening. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be different stops along the way, and then she's going to get to London, and then there'll be this massive piece of information of like, hey, there's this thing you need to know about, and then it's all going to sort of shift, and I think there'll be a plot twist, a bit like how there was previously. There was this sort of big twist at episode 5, where we find out Mizu's got this past. I think they will sort of do that again, but it will be, here's her mother's past, or her father's past, and then we'll find this thing out. That's what I think they'll do. Just intuition, but I could be obviously completely wrong. But I would kind of like to see that. I'd like to see Mizu in different places. Nice. I think I need to make the moon a bit smaller though. I don't quite like the moon being that big. Yeah, I'd rather have it more there. Where will you be when season 2 comes out? Please, 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 please stay right here with the Twonks. I mean, I hope I'll still be here. Like walking on Earth, hopefully. Since somewhat rejected by Akemi, is Taigen now with Mizu on the boat? I don't think he's on the boat. But I think you might go out there on a boat to find her, maybe. So I'm just going to draw in some of these trees. Just doing very, very rough sort of silhouette shapes. Just for now, to kind of just get a rough bit of shaping here. I'm quite happy with how this style has turned out, actually. There we go. It's going to be weird to think about it coming out, though, in 2026 or whenever it will be. Will I still be doing YouTube? Maybe I will be. I'm pretty sure I will be. We'll kind of colour correct those trees in a bit. As long as they're there, that gives a bit of depth I quite like. Again, this whole thing of like, how's Mizu going to know when to stop? Because is Mizu going to just get to like, you know, wherever and then just want to wipe out everybody? I think they're going to have to do something else with that after a certain point. Because otherwise it is just going to get like way too predictable. It's truly amazing to me how Arcane has made me unable to comprehend the word predictable anymore. Just adding in a couple of stars in the sky. I like the idea of the moon, obviously, because of the feminine. It plays into that. And I think, obviously, the blue moon, like, or the phrase blue moon, blue feminine, kind of works well with Mizu. That's why I like that. All right, let me just turn that off so I can see these fence posts. Let me get these fence posts coloured in. So I'm going to just go with a normal wood colour for now, and then so I can see. Just fill this in to make sure I like it. So, yeah. I'll just go with that for now, and then just so we've got a base colour to work on. And then I can add to it in a sec. What do you think of Ringo's character arc? I like Ringo. I like Ringo a lot. When I first started watching it, I thought, is he going to be like a really stupid character? Because I don't... If you're going to like have a character that cracks jokes, it also needs to be useful, because I can't stand when they just write a character in a show just for the sake of adding something funny. Like, you got to do it with purpose, you know, and intent. And Ringo became that. He became a really lovable character that you also didn't mind being funny, because it kind of broke everything up a little bit. For me, Ringo is a class act. He's amazing. He's the only man in this I trust other than Swordfather. I was actually expecting, I'll be honest, I was expecting him to die at the end of season 1. I thought if they're going to kill off anyone, it's probably Ringo. this idea of Ringo being great. I thought he would sacrifice himself for Mizu. That's what I thought it was going to do. And it didn't. It didn't at all. And I like the fact they've kept him around. They've still made him useful, but they've kept him around for more. And I really like that, because I do like Ringo. Mizu's quite cold, you know, so you need a warm character at some point. Otherwise, it all just gets a bit too much. That's the only thing I found sometimes with Vi and Caitlin. Sometimes, especially in season 2, they were both so cold. You kind of forgot they were both sweet and gentle at one point. That's why I like the finale when you get that shot where they rest their head on each other, because you're like, oh, thank God they're relaxed. Like, it all felt a little bit too pent up. You've put, it feels like he's the only constant in the series. From the beginning to end, he's the one who helps, cares, and even advances Mizu's development by taking off the bell to stand up for his beliefs. Yeah. Saying that I have a feeling he doesn't really develop himself. Yeah, see, that's interesting that you said that, because he does stay the constant, but does change. Like, he changes a lot, but there's no focus on it. Like, he gets the stick. Like, he wins the stick and then you don't hear about it again. So, like, I find that really, really interesting, actually. Hey, sorry for the change of scene. I was doing the drawing last night. I stopped to go grab some food, and halfway through dinner, we had a power cut. And by the time that the power came back on, I really wasn't in the right headspace to continue drawing. So, for me, this is the next day. How seamless. Also, for some reason my light isn't connecting and I can't get it to turn blue. So everything's gone wrong. But let's carry on with this Q&A, shall we? And let's get Mizu and her younger self finished in this art piece. Right, this was an interesting one. I've missed this one yesterday. Mizu hides two big things. First, her blue eyes, and second, the fact she's a woman. Most characters that met her earlier in the season later think they know her secret, which is her blue eyes. Few, only Ringo and in the end also Fowler, know that Mizu is a woman, which is probably her biggest secret. Now, did you notice this, and did you think this was deliberately done by the writers to give her character even more layers and complexity? Yes, I did. I've mentioned this in the previous questions. Really, no one finds out that she's a woman. Like, I was expecting Taigen or Akemi or like Madame Kaji to figure it out, and they didn't. It was Fowler in the end that did. And I think that, well, there's two layers here. One, I think that was to show that he would be the only one to figure her out. So it would almost creep her out a little bit that he was the one to notice. Secondly, I think Taigen did know she was a woman. And the reason I've come to this conclusion, I'm still on the fence about it, but doesn't he say when Ringo is treating her wounds way back in the beginning of the series, and he's insulting her, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he says something along the lines of, like you needing two hands to piss. Is that not a reference to the fact that she doesn't have male genitalia, that she's a woman, and that women urinate differently to men? Is that not where he's going with that? Or is he almost just doing an insult, not realising? I think Taigen does know Mizu as a woman, I really do, and that's not to say I wouldn't want him to be a guy that could possibly be into guys. It doesn't bother me whether he perceives Mizu as a woman or not, but I think he does, and he's deliberately not saying, because he wants Mizu to admit it to him. I could have sworn that he would have saw Mizu's like chest bandages when it was way back in episode 2. So this is why I'm very, very confused. Does he know she's a woman or does he not? And if he doesn't, Ringo didn't figure it out. He saw Mizu as a woman, as we all did. So that kind of changed the rhythm of that. He didn't really figure it out. It was Fowler was then the only person that figured it out. Yeah, so I think that was probably done deliberately. If it is just Fowler that knows, it's done deliberately to show that he's able to figure things out that other people aren't, which makes him even more terrifying. If he isn't, and Taigen does also know, then it shows a very, very interesting dynamic, is that Taigen does know, but he's unwilling to admit it that he knows. So either way, it's clever writing, but I've got a feeling Taigen also knows, to be honest with you. Okay, let's start adding in some shadows. So I'm going to just go in and start adding some shadows, simple, kind of basic shadows. We might add some texture in over the top. I'll see how things go. And then I'll continue with your questions. Can you make an accurate late 1600s English hot outfit for Mizu, please? You mean like draw it or make it in real life? Like actually make it? Clarify, when you see this video, you'll know who you are. Clarify what you mean by that. If you mean actually physically make it, I don't know if I can. Draw her in a hot outfit, well, we almost got to that point and I changed my mind because I didn't have a reference. Right, let me just start here with the legs. I think I'm going to do like hard shadows with this, and I'm going to kind of go over in a sec. And just put this down to like, I think 50% just for now. I think this would also be in shadow technically. What I also might do while I'm here actually is, yeah, I'm actually just going to draw the shadows in on the ground while I'm here. It's not going to be perfectly accurate, but it'll be accurate enough. So nice. And then we'll just do a little Bubba Mizu. I can't believe how excited I am though for season 2. Like I mean obviously I'll wait because, well, good things come to those who wait, but I really wish they'd hurry up. I really, really, really want a season 2. And you gotta realise I'm seeing everything 2 years after it first came out. So God knows how everyone else is feeling. Like I say, the shadows aren't perfect, but they're enough for us to get a concept of depth. And then we can kind of work out where the light's hitting on the characters if we've got that to look at. And then just fill this in with a little bit of excess bits and bobs. This needs to just be a bit thicker, I think. And then we can kind of do a little bit of push and pull with this. So I think we're going to extend this out a little bit, and then we'll just use like the liquify tool to kind of merge everything up. So just move everything back into its place. Yeah, that works well enough, I think. And then we've kind of got an understanding of where light and shadow will be hitting on Mizu. If this is then going to be all in shadow, which is probably likely, I could give this a go anyway. Yeah. This is a very nerdy question. I'm not from England. I don't remember many specifics about history and politics of that time. But what are your expectations when she gets to England? What kind of challenges will she be facing as a foreigner? Japan was a very closed off country. Yeah, she's going to see a lot more, I think I mentioned this before, like, she's going to see a lot more biracial people, I think. She's going to see a lot more melding of races and also just culture in general, I think. She'll be surrounded by Fowlers instead of Taigens. Yeah, very, very true. I don't know how they will show the difference between her English speaking and her English... I know what you mean though. Are they gonna? I think they'll just amp up the accents probably. In the same way with Fowler, they just made him have a really, really strong accent to show that he's from a different space. They may make it sound almost similar to Old English, which is a bit of a different sort of sound. I imagine it'll be something like that. Like I said, I'm not the best at shadows, if I'm honest with you, but I can kind of figure it out as I go. Sorry to go out of camera shot here, but I've just got a... Where it's not nighttime, it's quite a dark image to be working with. I actually can't see a lot, so bear with me. I think as long as we can show a little bit of depth with Mizu's outfit and attire here, then we should be basically getting the results we're looking for. I always find that helps a lot. If you ask someone who struggles with shadow, it took me a long time because I never really studied anatomy or anything like that when drawing. If you want a bit of guidance with shadow, the best thing to do is just put the shadow on the ground so you've got a good sense of direction, and then almost imagine that's... So if the shadow's like this on the ground and then it was to lay back up on the character, that's what you put in shadow. So if the shadow's on the ground like this and then you was to roll the shadow up onto the character, that's where you put the shading on that character on that side. And you paint the shadow like it's a dark light as opposed to trying thinking about it as a shadow. That helped me a lot. I still got a long way to go with learning the dynamics of stuff. I mean, I'd look back on this in a few years' time and realise I could do it a lot better. That's the main thing I've found, is just working the shadow like it's a negative light. That I find that really helps, to be honest. So Mizu's face, I think a lot of her could be in shadow here. I think most of the head could be. Probably everything except for that side. I think I'm going to do maybe not the nose. I quite like strong shadows as well, personally, whenever I'm drawing. Yeah, I quite like that. So you just see that left side of her face in light. I think that works quite well. It's pretty simple. but I think it works quite well. I think maybe even, maybe a little bit of light poking through there, maybe. Yeah, it just defines that a little bit more. I quite like that. Okay, let's do the same. What was that on in terms of opacity? It's just a normal layer, and that's currently on, I'll put it on 35. So I'll do the same here. So clipping mask, normal layer, but just turn the opacity down to 35. I've answered all your questions anyway, I've just double checked. I've gone through all of them. Let me now do a little Bubba Mizu. If you guys also like that, the arcane one, that sort of cartoon animated one that I did, I'm more than happy to do some more because you know I love that style. So if you do like the idea of that, then I would love to do some more. Do you want me to do another Vi and Caitlin one, or include some of the other characters in the show? Like, do you want me to do a Mel and, you know, Mel and Jace or Mel and Victor or something like that? Let me know. Oops. Also done Mizu's hair slightly lighter here when she's younger. Children tend to, not always, but tend to have slightly fairer hair than their adult selves. You see that in a lot of like mammals, so. And then I'll just do another layer for the swords, and then just move it down to 35. Of course, if you want a stronger shadow, you just leave it up to like 100% or anywhere in between. The swords, actually, I'll show you, I might do the swords with slightly higher contrast, actually, to show they're more reflective. That might actually work quite well. It's much easier with the clipping mask. I used to do it this way and I completely forgot it ever existed that way. So now I know. Yeah, I might do that, you see. It makes them look shinier. What you can also do is a little highlight on the sword as well. I'll probably do that. This is great. What I'm looking for though, I think, is some highlight. Quite like the idea of just adding a little bit more detail in. I'll just give this a go and then see how that looks in a second. Let me just see, do I like it on or off? I think on. Yeah, I quite like that. So I'm just going to select and then carry on. I'm just going to do this over the rest of Mizu. Just adds, I think, a little bit more kind of texture, if that makes sense. Helps me kind of analyse these different layers of folds in her outfit as well. I want to keep this kind of, I don't want to say like sketchy, but I don't want to worry too much about detail on this. I kind of want it to be not in the exact style of Blue Eye Samurai. I kind of want to do my own take on it, so. Also just separates them from the background a little bit more. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to select, actually I'm just going to put in a new layer. Just going to grab the pencil tool. I think, just going to move this up a little bit. What I'm going to do is just smudge this out a little bit more. And then I quite like the idea of sort of a highlight on the swords. So I'm just adding this in right now. Sort of it mirrors the stars twinkling as well. Okay. Now we just need a little bit of shadow, a little bit of depth. So let's just take this fence post here. So we're going to do the same with the fence post. We're going to flip them. We're going to move it down and then we're just going to distort them. We're going to sort of do it on the same angle as these shadows as well behind them, the best we can. It all starts coming together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a mask layer, clipping mask over the top, and do the same sort of shadow thing with the fence post that we did with Mizu and young Mizu. Clipping mask, and then just start sketching this in. I wonder what Mizu is going to wear though. What is Mizu actually going to wear when she's in? when she's in England. Because 1600s attire, I can't see her coping with the woman's 1600s attire. I don't think it's very Mizu. But will she? That's the thing. Will she sort of... This is what I'm wondering, like I said earlier, with her and Akemi. Are they going to like swap? Is Akemi going to become almost quite masculine in her approach and sort of remove the femininity that she has because she's so tired of how that's been abused and used? And is Mizu now going to play into her femininity a bit more? That's what I'm interested in seeing. Okay, now what we'll just do is for their shadows on the ground, I'm just going to kind of work around them a little bit just to make sure that I have got everything in there. And I'm going to kind of go against what I originally had, but it's just going to make sure that everything lines up and looks okay. That should be fine. Nice. Now, for grass, I just do basically like a light highlight. Let's go here. I'm just going to take a sort of shade of blue. I'll just go here on her neck piece. Get like a technical pencil and sort of draw these in. I think what I'm going to add as well is just some puddles on the ground to show the rain landing on the floor. And I think we could do some cool things with some reflection with that. I think it will add a little bit more depth. And then what I usually do is I'll just get a slightly thicker line and kind of just do almost like a shadow to sort of show the direction that the kind of grass is. Like I say, if I wanted to do a really detailed background here, I could do, but I kind of want to keep this more focused on those two. Duplicate that a little bit if you want it a little bit more lighter, and then you can kind of control how you like that a little bit more. Perfect. Okay, the trees seem okay in the background, though I'm debating just making them all one colour and just deepen it just a little bit. Yeah, nice, 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 nice. I need something just to separate the background and the foreground that little bit more. Perhaps I need to put some bushes or some reeds or something behind the fence. Fill in the space and just get an idea of what I'm working with here. Maybe I just make this like an atmospheric fog. Maybe if I just put this on blur. Yeah, see what I mean? Just maybe something like that. That's a bit better. Just to separate the trees from Mizu and Mizu. Perhaps we just need some more of those grasses. Something sort of in here. So if I just put a bunch of grass, and then I can kind of fade it in a little bit in a minute. Hope I'm in shot, sorry if I've been leaning out the way. Do you reckon, because we'll see an introduction of some new characters, do you reckon Mizu will meet the English version of herself? Sort of a tomboyish English character? Because I can tell you right now, if they do, I think I might scream. Like if we see English Mizu, a Megan, I don't know, how different will that feel, if you know what I mean? That's what I'm wondering. Are we going to see, is Mizu going to meet her match just in a different way? So all I'm going to do, by the way, is just duplicate those sort of grasses, flip them, distort them a little bit, and make them a little bit shorter, and then just move them back like that. Kind of extend them off the edge a little bit. Move them back, and then just make them a bit darker. Yeah, see what I mean? Just creates a little bit of distance between her and that fence. Let me just do some puddles. All I need to do is just do the highlight on the puddle, is add them as little ringlets. So this one, just make this a bit smaller. So sort of circles as far as I'm guessing. It's been a long time since I've done any puddles, so bear with me. And then you'll sort of see the sky reflected in the puddle as well, so I'll do a little bit of blue tones. Perhaps I even put the moon's reflection in there, where the moon would be quite cool. Just wanted to also say as well, like, I know we watched Blue Eye Samurai a good few weeks ago at this point, so sorry this Q&A has taken a little while to get to you. But because I had so many League vids that I had to get through, I wanted to prioritise those first because people had recommended those like early January, so that's why. Then I'm going to go and add some highlights in over the top. Actually, would puddles, hang on a sec, would puddles not be lighter? Yeah, they would, wouldn't they? Because they'd be reflecting the light, actually. So no, puddles would be lighter. And keep the highlights as they are. Just bring that down a little bit. Yeah, puddles would be lighter, right? Because they'd be reflecting light. Yeah, true. And then what I'll do is I'll go over and add like a blue gradient over the top, I think. Yeah, I think you'd probably do the moonlight in here as well. Copy. Flip it. And then maybe some just sort of dark tones as well. Something like this. There we go. Blur it a little bit. And then just stick that as an overlay. Something of the sort. Now, what else do we just need to do? We need to do Mizu's sword. So it's just sort of blue on the top, really. It's just sort of blue like this. Yeah. It sort of sweeps up like that. Yeah, I'm going to lighten that. Just decrease that a little. There we go. And I think we're pretty much done. I think what I'm going to just do over the top is I'm going to add sort of streaks of blue moonlight coming forward and then blur it all. Do it to where the shadows are actually. Sort of like that. Blur this. Overlay. And what I also just want to do is some sort of streaks with that as well. Blend this out a little bit. And I'm just going to use the liquify tool just to move it all into place. Also looks quite smoky, a bit like the fog, kind of like that. And then we just got the rain to do. So all I'm going to do is get the Narinda pencil in this sort of white, or sort of berry pale blue. And then all I'm going to do is turn on drawing assist, drawing guide, like that. Turn on drawing assist. And I'm just going to follow down in straight lines at this drops of rain. And because the drawing assist is on, it won't draw any at like a diagonal angle, it will only draw them going straight down. Do some smaller. And do some like really short, because they're the ones sort of further in the background. Then I'm going to put this to overlay, or soft light actually. Soft light I think I'm going to go with. I'm going to turn this 180 degrees. That way now the more faded part of the water droplet is at the top. So I'm going to turn it like this, and then I'm just going to click distort and move the bottom like that, and that way you can give a sense of direction to the rain. Scale it up wherever you want it, and all I'm going to do is when there's some over Mizu's face, is if I don't like them that much, or if I just want to make sure there's none over crucial elements of her, then I'll just fade those out a little bit. And just to add a little bit more depth on top of the characters, I'm just going to put where some have previously would have hit them, and just do little sort of splashed droplets like that. And I'll do some on the ground as well. Also doing these just on the areas where there's highlight on the characters, because otherwise it would be in shadow. So follow that around like this, and then just some marks on the floor as well. Not in the shadow though. Nearly forgot. Just on top of the water as well you can do. And all I'm going to do is just set that to an overlay. Maybe a soft light. Soft light, overlay, soft light, soft light. Just going to put a fill layer on, move this to an overlay. That just makes everything nice and blue. And just as a final finishing touch, just as an ode to the show, just working its way through the sky. And I'm just going to rotate that just a little bit so it's pointing directly to Mizu. One complete drawing of Mizu and younger Mizu to wrap up watching Blue Eye Samurai. What do you think? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this kind of thing, I'm more than willing to do more of it, as I find it really fun anyway. And if you also like that cartoon style that I did, do let me know. And if you want to see more arcane characters in that style as well, let me know. I've got a feeling I could do Jason Vic would be quite funny, and Mel, that'd be quite cute. Or would you like to see other Blue Eye Samurai characters in my cartoon style? I'm thinking Taigen would be a tiger, and I'm thinking Ringo would be a panda, but I'm not sure about what other animals the other characters could be. So if you'd like that, let me know in the comments, and then in the future I think it'd be quite funny to do a little cartoon version of our favourite Blue Eye Samurai characters. Let me know. Thank you very, very much, as always, for watching. Do give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and subscribe. Stick around, put notifications on if there's more like this that you want to see. Take very, very good care of yourself, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.